All right, everybody, here we are. The Reel Down.
Live again.
It's Monday night. Time for the Reel Down.
Need the intro of the heavy metal music. Dun, dun, dun.
We'll give it a few seconds here. Let some people log on. Let everybody. If you're watching, go ahead and give us a share if you don't mind, and we'll get this going here in just a second. Got a good show planned tonight. Something a little bit different for us here, and we'll definitely going to be learning some things about.
Definitely a big learning curve.
Yeah. So it should be a lot of fun here. And if you have any questions or comments tonight, just put them below. We'll follow along and get them out there, and we'll ask them any questions that you may have.
I remember to turn on the live comments on this one.
Oh, okay. Already got. Why can't I get a response on hat? Doug Mosley, I will message you after this. We'll get you figured out. I'm writing it down right now. Doug Mosley.
Send me another one while you're at it.
Okay. Hat. And hey, Gal. And Justin Staley, the
What's
man.
up, Justin?
All right. So tonight on the Reel Down, if you're watching, thank you for watching as always. This is a Reel Down. We're going to be doing this on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Central. Every week, this is our new time. And then tomorrow, you'll be able to listen to it if you didn't catch it tonight on all the usual places. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. But tonight, we have two special guests. The first one is Alex Rojas. He's the president of the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club. And Bryce Gibbs, who just won the KBF West Pueblo Reservoir, Colorado. He won the KBF event out there. And Alex, his club was the hosting club. So here they are. Alex and Bryce, thank you for being on the show, guys.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to find out all about fishing out, I guess some in Arizona, but mostly in Colorado. And I think for me and Jimmy, we both, we really want to try to, it's tough because we're more Midwest and Southeast based. So sometimes we miss those Northeast guys, and we miss the West guys, and maybe some of the Florida guys. So we're trying to get some people more in, some more people in and try to highlight some more anglers. And Bryce, and we'll get into this later. If everybody didn't know, if you don't know who Bryce is, you need to look up this man's KBF numbers because it's.
Dude,
But I don't know if anybody's got better KBF numbers than this man.
His stats were. I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, exactly.
No one knows, man.
Cool.
So he's having a hell of a year already, too.
Yeah. His 2020, like you said, we'll get into it. I got his 2020 stuff. It's pretty impressive.
All right. So first we'll start out with you, Alex. Kayak fishing. How'd you get into it, man?
So got a good story there, actually.
All right.
Yeah, I started float tube fishing a long time ago. I've been float tube fishing for years on my float tube, chasing trout, walleye. I'm a walleye guy traditionally. And I started a lot of forums. Back in the day, it was all forums, like Google forums and stuff, right? And I was on these forums back in California. I live here in Colorado, but I found forums in California all about float tubing. And they had tournaments that they had for float tubes, So I wanted to start getting into competitive fishing, So I was like, how do I do this? There's got to be something in Colorado that does something similar with float tubes, So I started Googling around, trying to find if anybody had any float tube tournaments here in Colorado. They didn't. But I stumbled across Colorado Kayak Fishing Club. They were hosting a tournament like a week or two later after I found out about it. I reached out to them, said, hey, can I do it in my float tube? They said, absolutely, you can. I was like, awesome. What's all the details? They gave me all the details. I never even heard of kayak fishing before that day. So I wanted to do it in my float tube. And I started doing all this research on kayak fishing because I'd never heard of kayak fishing. And I really got into it. And I said, this is for me. This is absolutely 100% for me. The tournament was on a Saturday. My birthday was on a Wednesday before. I asked the wife, can I go buy a kayak? She said, go buy one. It's your birthday. Nice. So I went to Bass Pro Shops. I got an Ascend. I got a 12T Ascend. I'll never forget it. 2014. It's 2014 when it happened. Never been in a kayak in my life. Not any kind of kayak ever. So I get to the tournament. I took my float tube with me just in case things went really bad. I was going to put my float tube out and go fishing with it, right? the morning meeting happens. I see everybody launching. I let everybody launch because I didn't know how to launch. I thought I was going to flip the kayak as soon as I got in it. Everybody launches. I'm studying how they launch, and I get in the kayak, think I'm going to flip right away, and I don't. I paddle off. The rest is history, I caught like one fish that day, but it was a learning curve for me. It was a big learning curve, right? And the rest was history. From there, I got hooked, and yeah, that's my story of how I got into kayak fishing.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Bryce, how about you, man?
I mean, I grew up, riding quads, dirt bikes, fishing, doing all this stuff. I actually, when I was 15, I broke my back on my dirt bike. So that was I grew up playing baseball as well and all that. So this kind of ended my baseball career, and I got into bass fishing. And I bought my first bass boat when I was 16. I just paid for it right then and there. Fell in love with the sport. 3 years later, I ran out of money. It's just a bass boat, busted out another $1,000. I was there.
Yeah.
So then I ended up selling my bass boat. I bought a kayak. First day, it was windy as you know what. Second day, same thing. I got rid of it, got out of fishing for about a year, and I just not doing all that drinking and all that stuff, yada yada yada. And I actually got back into it. And then there was someone that said, "Hey, there's kayak bass fishing tournaments." And I was like, "No, there's not. I'm just out here having fun." No. And I started looking into it, and then just from there, it was 2016 in April. So I got back into this, and then from there, it's just all out from there. So
just
a lot of in-betweens, and I fish 3, 4, 5 days a week on average, just all going forward from there.
Just one of those guys that would be successal at anything, then, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta work. You gotta work hard, man.
Right.
I lose a lot of sleep.
Yeah, I hear you.
So,
all right.
Yeah. I was gonna go back towards Alex. I want to know about the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club out there. Sure. Something I noticed was they've been around for a while. I think the Facebook start date was like 2014. We see a lot of clubs popping up more now. It's kind of rare you see the older clubs and really find them, but it looks like they've been around for a while. And like we were saying, for me and Dan, like Colorado is my favorite state I've ever been to. But when I go there, I think of fly fishing and trout fishing. So, me and my wife joke about retiring and moving somewhere like that. And I was like, I don't know, there's, no bass fishing. So now I'm excited because I can be like, hey, we can still retire there.
Absolutely, there's bass here, right? That's the everybody thinks that, right? That we're trout state #1, right? That everybody thinks the fly fishing is great. It is. It's phenomenal here. There's no doubt about that. People, it's world class here for sure. But what we have here, we have bass. Our growing season's small, so our bass tend to be smaller, as Bryce probably could tell you as well. A whole bunch of dinks, right? The bigger reservoirs have smaller fish, tend to have smaller fish, but we do have some size. The ponds, some of the smaller places have some good size. So we're more than just trout here. As far as CKFC, you're right. We started back in, before me, I got into this in 2014, into the whole kayak fishing thing. But before that,
that's a long time though.
Yeah. Before that though, Google Groups is around, and there's a few guys here, probably a handful of guys, 5, 6 guys that just like to fish out of kayaks, and they modified their kayaks. Back in the day, you had to use PVC and do all that, get real creative, right?
Yeah.
To make your rod holders and all that good stuff. So, they had the Google Groups, and they just group of guys just kind of said, let's create a little club, just us, not for fishing, not for tournaments or anything, just a club, just to hang out and introduce people to the sport and stuff as well. So they had Google Groups going, and then from there, Facebook popped up pretty big, and that's when they started the Facebook page. So it started real small. In 2014, 13, 14, right in that range, this guy, Dave Kuzer, he used to run, he was our walleye angler of the year every year here out of boats. He ran the Colorado Walleye Association here. They started talking about how they could raise money. And they want to give back to the community, So one of the guys that started this thing was Johnny. I can never say his last name. Johnny W. We'll just call him Johnny W. He grew up kind of in need a little bit, and he got helped by the Boys and Girls Club in Denver. So he really wanted to give back because the community gave to him quite a bit, right? So he really wanted to give back. So that was the goal. How do we give back to the community? How do we raise money to give back to the community? And Dave Kuzer and them decided to go ahead and start tournaments. We could raise money to give back to charities via tournaments, right? So they started a nonprofit organization, CKFC. We're a nonprofit, right? So we donate 100% of our proceeds. Anything we make other than Q1 operating costs to get tournaments started, advertising, all that kind of stuff that we run, everything else, 100% we give back to the community in the form of a donation. And every year we get a different charitable donation that we give. So like last year was we get this initiative, which is helps battered women. We get into Boys and Girls Club of Denver. We give into organizations that help our veterans. We get into organizations that help cancer. So we get into multiple different organizations, and that's what our club's about, is growing the sport, helping people get into it, and then giving back to the community in some way, right? So that's what we do.
Dude, no, that's great, man. All these other clubs need to take note of stuff like that.
Right.
So I something else I noticed is that y'all have a lot of members. And the obviously this was a KBF trail event. And y'all had a pretty good turnout, but you were talking about y'all's short growth season, but y'all have numbers. Something I noticed is y'all had 60 anglers compete, and y'all caught 401 fish in that tournament.
Yeah,
and
so
that's insane.
There was a lot more fish caught than that. I could tell you that. Personally, I caught a lot more than my 5, right? After you get your limit, you just start submitting the smaller fish, right?
Right.
Bryce will tell you too. I bet you he went through probably 30 fish, at least 40 fish. Right?
I went through 40 plus, and the last 6 or 7 were 15 and a quarter.
Wow.
It was crazy, man.
It's legit like a healthy fishery, because there was a lot of weight stacked in that, like 77 to 70 range. I mean, the weights were every quarter inch too.
They were, yeah, and a lot of our lakes are like that. We have a lot of the smallmouth lakes are really good like that. So we have a bunch of smallmouth lakes that are really good. And we go through numbers. I mean, it's a numbers game here. You have to go through numbers. Sometimes you find those little sweet spots that hold a group of 15, 16, 17-inch fish. But for the most part, it's a numbers game here.
What kind of, like, are they like deep clear lakes, or do you get grassy shoals and ledges, or what kind of fisheries do you have?
So Pueblo's a really good fishery. It has a little bit of everything. I think Bryce could tell you a little bit about that too. But so yeah, it has the cliffs. It has the drop offs. It has the ledges. It has underwater humps. We have grass. We have submerged vegetation. We have grass flats. We have a dam, because it's all man-made here for the most part. We have dams. We have sandy flats. We have rocky shores. We have submerged trees. There's a little bit of everything. Like, I caught most of my fish flipping. Almost all of my fish were caught flipping in this tournament. I don't know how Bryce did it, but
yeah, no matter what you want to do, you can pretty much fish the way you want to.
Exactly.
That's just awesome to think about, because like in my head, that's not like, I would think deep clear reservoir, like in a mountain somewhere. Like,
right.
It's cool to know that it's just as diverse there as it is anywhere else.
So Pueblo, for example, at the east end of the lake by the dam, pretty clear. You could see down 8, 10, 12 feet. At the west end by the river, it was chocolate mud. I mean, it's so diverse, and everything in between.
I didn't make it up that way too far, so I didn't see the chocolate milk.
Right.
And y'all's club, y'all have even not only bass but multi-species events too, huh?
Right. So our tournament started with multi-species. They started fishing for whatever lake it was. So we have 2 different series. One series is just for multi-species, and one is a bass only series. 2 separate series. They have their own AOIs, all that good stuff as well, right? So a multi-species tournament for us, it's kind of unique. Something we do that's kind of unique as well, right, is that we do multi-species. So we go to a lake, like a Trinidad Lake will be coming up on June 15th for our first tournament for multi-species. And that lake, it'll be bass, and they have smallmouth and largemouth there. So you can catch 2 bass, 2 walleye, and 1 trout, okay? Or you can mix it up. It could be 2 trout, 2 walleye, 1 bass. It's up to you to be creative and use your strategy, whatever that is for you. And then we throw a kicker fish in there. Once you hit your limit, we throw a kicker fish. So it might be like a perch, it might be a white bass, it might be a catfish, it might be any species. It might be pike, it might be whatever it might be, right?
Well, I feel like you gotta carry some gear with you.
You do. Absolutely. I mean, you can have rods, right? I mean, people are like, why you take 8, 9, 10 rods with you? It's because
I'm fishing for everything at once now.
Exactly. And not only that, but I think what makes multi-species so fun for me, I'm a multi-species guy, I'm learning the bass game because I want to compete at a national level. Yeah. So I just got into bass fishing like 3 years ago. But I love the multi-species game because it's so much strategy. You have to know when you're fishing for bass in the morning or walleye first thing in the morning. Okay, do I have enough inches here to move on to bass? Now I got to go focus on bass. You know, I got to go focus on trout now. When do I leave the bass? When do I leave the trout? You know, is enough inches in this specific species to move to the next one? It's a lot of strategy.
It might
still
be
typically an 8-hour tournament.
Yes, it's typically 8-hour tournament.
So
sometimes 9, depending on later in the summer with the hours, you know, daylight and stuff.
Yeah.
I know I've never fished for walleye. Do you usually have to like change ramps and go to a different area?
That's the beautiful part here is most of the fish. I bet you Bryce caught walleye. I almost guarantee you caught 0 walleye, really?
0.
Wow, I'm surprised.
I tried.
Most people, like I caught a 19-inch walleye during the tournament, right? Most people catch, they're normally in the same general areas. You just got to find them, you know. Smallmouth and walleye really relates a lot of same structure. So that's pretty good. And the trout, you try to catch between moving spots because they kind of roam, you know. So there's a lot of strategy to do it all, you know. That's cool. My go-to. I was angler of the year twice now. I was angler of the year last year here in Colorado for multi-species. So that's my jam right there, right? Yeah.
So we're talking to the multi-species guy then. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I honestly, I didn't even know that was a thing before now. And now it's like, now I'm like,
man, that's got me wanting to like talk our guys into doing like bass, crappie, like a gar throwdown or something. I don't know.
You should do it. I know the Kansas guys do something similar where they have like a month. I think they do like 1 month of chasing crappie, 1 month of chasing catfish, 1 month of chasing bass, and then they have AOY with all that combined, right?
That's insane.
Yeah. I know there's some walleye lakes in Tennessee, Georgia, like this area, but I've never went and caught one. So
right.
I hear they eat good. So
they eat great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's phenomenal. That perch and yeah. The another thing we do too, we go up to Gold Medal Waters. So Gold Medal Waters here in Colorado is a place like it's like the mecca of all trout fishing. You know, they call them Gold Medal Waters. It's all catch and release. Some places you keep one fish over 21 inches. So we go up to this place called Pueblo Reservoir, which is a special place here in Colorado for trout and for pike. The pike there are fun. I mean, good sized pike. You go through numbers of pike. And the trout, though, I mean, you average around 19 to 20 inch trout there all day. It's awesome. And you go through numbers. It's a real fun place to go fish. We hit that one every year for our tournaments. It's a lot of fun.
So for you personally, when you're switching up species, like, would you go from like, you know, if you're throwing a bait caster for bass, do you carry like a fly rod with you to trout fish?
I don't, but some guys do. Yeah, we have one girl who competes with us, Stephanie Winling. She is incredible. She's a hell of a stick, and all she uses is a fly rod. And she's chasing bass, she's chasing walleye, trout, you name it. She's doing it with a fly rod, and she competes. I mean, I think she finished like top 5 last year for AOY.
We've got a guy down here that surprised me. He just a quick story. He came in, did one of our small throwdowns to see what tournament kayak fishing was like, and then he did our open on Guntersville. And he was fishing in, you know, just a cheap Pelican kayak, nothing against it. But he told me he was fly fishing. And I was like, there's no way. But he ended up coming in like 11th place out of like 80-something guys fly fishing in a Pelican kayak. And I was like, well, never mind. You got it. I don't. I get it.
Right.
I feel you.
Yeah, some people just got it. Yeah.
Do you do the multi-species stuff too, Bryce?
No, man, I'm strictly bass. If I catch a lot of catfish back home, and it's just everyone back home, they know it's just, oh, you got another cat, because when I catch catfish, they're big. You know, it's mostly on chatterbaits and, you know, drop shots, stuff like that. And it's just, I think a few weeks back, I caught like a 12-pound channel cat, and I was like, what are you doing, man? That one I was just like, all right, I'll go home.
Craig Dye, I saw on online. He caught a big one with his kid today. That was cool to see.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
All right, so the reason we had y'all on together, how this worked out is there was a KBF West event on Pueblo Reservoir. I can't say that for some reason. We don't have Pueblos here. So out in Colorado, and Bryce won that event. You were the host, and your club was the host, Alex. So Jimmy, give us Bryce's stats. So, yeah, y'all get ready to get your mind blown here.
So I'm going to mix in. We'll start with just your 2020 year totals. And so you're averaging 19-inch fish. That's killer. You've had 13 first-place finishes in 2020. You've had 14 top 10s. And, like I said, I wasn't ready for this when I looked your stats up. I mean, I'm not taking it away from you. It's just you don't
good.
like that's impressive. And then I was like, well, let me see what this guy does all time. You have 34 all time first place finishes. And
Yeah, I
you
got
finished top
this.
10 73 times. Like
It's just
anybody
grinding, man.
that's not looking at this guy as a threat in kayak fishing needs to recognize right now, right here tonight live, Bryce is, which is, it could be play in your favor. You could start traveling national and be the underdog that nobody's ready for.
Yeah.
And so here it is. So 30 in Tourney X, 33% of the tournaments you've entered, you've won. So 1 out of 3 you've won, and then 70% of the time you're in the top 10. I mean,
I want to know your key to consistency.
Yeah, even Cody
Spill it right now.
You know, everyone out here, it's Katy Perry. Lance already said something earlier. I saw that, but I just go out and fish. I have fun. You know, I do this a lot, and then other times where I just invite everyone over, have a good time. I just fish slow. You know, think about what that bait's doing and where it should be, and if it's not getting bit, change. You know, don't just stay at the same spot. Just keep going. And it's hard. It's hard on your body. It's hard on this. I mean, that trip to Colorado, I'm still paying for it. My back's just jacked up right now. So you're
fishing in a Hobie, right?
Yeah, PA 14.
You do a lot of moving spots, then I bet.
Yeah, I'm moving all. I mean, I launched probably 4 miles from where first found that Smalley, and it just kept going. It's like, well, what's the closest ramp to this? You know, so.
All right, so here it is. In that event, Bryce had 83 inches. Second place, I'm terrible with names. I should not have this job. Second is Paul Roth. He had 79 inches. So you won by 4 inches. Third was James Strawbridge with 78 and a quarter. Fourth, Bradley Coolin. Sorry, Bradley.
There you go. However you want to say it.
Yeah. 77 and a half, and Dave Kuzer, you were talking about him earlier, Alex. 77 inches. So, and then below that, all the weights were stacked. So how were you able to like get the bigger fish? Like what was it that allowed you to work through those numbers to get some bigs to set yourself apart?
It was really just that Smalley was one thing. But all the other fish, I mean, I was catching 15s pretty consistently, and it was fishing slow. You know, it's just you're fishing slow, you're dragging it, and I wouldn't sit there and shake it. You know, if I'm throwing a drop shot, I wouldn't sit there and just shake it. I would let it fall down, pick it back up. Let it fall down, pick it back up. I mean, it's just a little bit different than the traditional shake it till they eat it kind of thing. You know, it's clear. I fished clear water. Yeah, and then it was clear water, so I was doing drop shot, light, finesse stuff most of the day. I just found them,
So you're there in Arizona, and you must fish a lot of clear water. Can you give us your whole top to bottom drop shot, rod reel, line combo, baits, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Duckett medium 7.2 black ice. I mean, it's just you feel everything with that rod. It's ridiculous. I just 7-pound Sunline leader on that, and I throw braids, so braided leader on everything. So I mean, for the most part out here, I mean, I'm trying to get away from the finesse style. It's just I live here. We always do it. I can go travel and fish it if I need to. But it's back home. I don't want to always throw finesse. So this year I've thrown a lot of the jackhammer. And there's tournaments back here. And it's just, back in February, I stuck 2 8-pounders on a jackhammer, almost the same spot. And it was just, I caught 20 fish that day, and it was a tough day of fishing. I just threw the jackhammer all day. So just always like switching it up.
I saw how many you have tons of 24s and 25s that you've weighed. Like, you're catching all those in Arizona?
Yeah. Wow. It's just, my favorite lake out here is Saguaro. It's about 40 minutes from my house. It was shut down for about 2 months, and trying to get back into the bite on that lately. But it's just Saguaro and Canyon. There's big fish. So Canyon, that's the biggest one at 25 and a half.
Yeah.
So it was actually 3 years ago. 3 years ago yesterday, I think it was. So.
If you have any comments or questions for these guys, put them in here, and we'll try to ask them.
And again, keep liking and sharing this, and let's get this out there.
So I guess I would be thinking out west that y'all a lot of your water would have been closed. You've literally got number one in more tournaments than most people have been able to fish this year. Like has a lot of your water just been open all year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lake, Roosevelt. We've been hitting that a lot. A lot of guys been going there. It's about an hour and a half away, 2 hours, depending on where you launch from. That's been open. That's been hot. It's 100% basically the first time in a long time. So you got trees in the water. You can flip. You can throw buzz baits, chatter baits. I mean, it doesn't matter. And then like for the one night stands and the Mother's Day challenge, I actually went down to Havasu, which is about 3.5, 4 hours away. And I mean, they're eating good down there too. So it's just you got to find them.
Yeah. So what kind of go take us through that day? Like, not really. You don't have to go step by step, but was it tough at first? Did you catch on to a pattern that you could travel around and follow, like catching them off a point that was different than another, rock bottom? How'd it go for you?
Yeah, I mean that day. I mean, we launched, and I was right next to Lindsay up there. And we start moving the same way, and I'm like, that Smalley's right over there off that tree. And then she kind of stopped. I kind of stopped. I didn't want everyone to see it first thing in the morning, that Smalley. And I didn't even know she was there still. It was cloudy that day. You couldn't really see anything. So I kind of just fished along that point where she was at. I stuck two, and they were like 13 and 14. And then after I caught that Smalley, I got her in. First time she actually got up, so I'm trying to find this tree that she was around, and I know it's in an area this big or so. And I'm throwing. I can't see, and she finally bit. I just see my line run, and I wasn't ready to set the hook, and she popped off the first time. I was like, that's it, and she's gone. But I mean, that was a real aggressive fish, and then I finally, from that bite, I knew where she was at. Threw back in there. She ate it. Boom. I got it, and after that, it was just. Cruise the shoreline, I'd hit points, I'd hit drop offs, just any kind where there's rocks or a change in the depth.
So you think are you pretty sure she was bedding down then?
Oh yeah. 100%. I mean, because I found her, I think Wednesday. So Thursday I went back, went over her a few times throughout the day to make sure she was still there. And I mean, she was locked. So I was just hoping that wasn't, the last day that she was on there. Yeah. And then Friday, Saturday, she was still there.
So is that what phase y'all are in? Kind of in Colorado, mostly right at the spawn right now.
Yeah, water temps are right around 60, 62 degrees right there. It's getting pretty hot right now. Smallies are going first. They always spawn first here, of course, right? So the Smallies are going. Largemouth right around the corner. So all the bigger reservoirs, the temps are perfect right now. The smaller ones they've already done their thing for the most part. Yeah.
So I was hoping for some beds, man.
Yeah.
I love.
Have you fished up there before, Bryce? Do you?
No. I mean, I almost didn't even go. I got a lot of buddies that travel from Arizona now with all this KBF stuff, and I was just going back and forth and. My buddy Lance, he's like, hey man, if you want to go, you can stay with me. And I'm like, so I gave it a few days. I wasn't gonna go, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, let's go and let's have fun, So, and I was talking to everyone. I mean, I fished in Colorado once before that, and we didn't catch no bass. We were trying to catch trout, nothing there. So I went fishing one time before that. But yeah, I'd never been to Pueblo or Colorado really on any kind of bass bite. So.
Hey Bryce, what's your opinion of the fishing there, Pueblo? What you think of it?
A lot of fish. Right. I mean that 4 pound Smalley changed my mind about that lake a little bit.
He will.
Before that, it was just it was good fishery. There's just a lot of fish, and it's almost nerve wracking in a way because you're on fish, but day one I wasn't really even getting anything over 16 and a quarter. I didn't catch a 17 or an 18, which those are the ones I normally look for in a lake like that. And I was just like, there's a lot of fish here, so just keep doing what I'm doing and try to keep going.
Did you catch any spots or largemouth, or was it all smallies?
I caught spots. I caught largemouth. Smallies. I mean, when I can get on a smallie bite, I try to get on that and stay on that, even if there's largemouth could be bigger. It's just the fight. That fight with smallmouth, it's unmatched. The spots, they fight good as well. And we don't have that back home with the spots. I ended up catching I didn't catch a walleye up there, but I did catch a crappie, pretty decent crappie tournament day. So
that's awesome, man. We don't have. We've got smallmouth. I'm North Alabama, Tennessee River chain, and you can find them, but where I live, it's not heard of. And I got a little piece of information from somebody Saturday and went way up in a creek, and I found I was in 2 different rapids in single pools, and I caught 2 18-inch smallie, probably right under 3 pounds, and like 117, but I caught like 10, and I don't know, like, it makes you not want to go after largemouth anymore, like you're saying, that fight.
Yeah.
Like I had my GoPro turned off.
Yeah,
What jumped past
Jimmy
me?
won his tournament this weekend.
I mean, it wasn't.
There's a spot down by Havasu. It's the Parker Strip. I mean, it's on the Colorado River there, and I got into bass fishing down there. I mean, this is my dad and I way back in the day on the back of a jet ski. We're just trolling these little swim baits, just catching 3-4 pound smallie. I'm 5, 6, 7 years old, hanging on for dear life in the river current. And lately, I've been trying to get back up there a lot because it's just the bite's on. And I caught a couple that are over 4 up there just this year as well. And it's the current in a kayak with smallmouth, river smallmouth. I mean, you can't beat that fight.
No,
there's nothing.
Dude, I don't know if I can handle a 5 pound plus smallmouth and something like that. I hope it does.
My biggest is a little over 5, around 5.5. I was in a boat back then, though. But yeah, it's a fun fight.
It is.
You got to respect a fish that can turn your kayak around and run it upstream.
Oh, and it can flip you easily if you're not paying attention, even in a big one.
Yeah.
What kind of kayak are you in, Alex?
So I run some Old Town Predator PDLs.
Okay.
And I run a pedal drive kayak business, so I rent them.
Okay.
So I rent them to get people into tournaments fishing. That's basically what I do. Is to give people an opportunity that normally can't store a kayak, can't transport a kayak. I do that for them so they can fish our tournaments. So cool. That's what I'm out of right now. I'm hoping to get into native. I'm trying to work a deal around right now with native. My rental business is kind of messing that up a little bit right now, but
yeah. So what's everything like with everything going on? Bryce kind of talked about how it is for him and what's been open. What's it like for you up there, Alex? Like everything open and good, or
the lakes have all been open here. They kept them open. They're hammered to people though. Oh my gosh, it's incredible how many people are out right now. It's been, the lakes have stayed open. The travel restrictions is what was kind of a big deal here, and it kind of worried me about the KBF Pueblo event.
Yeah,
where there's a lot of travel restrictions. Like the military guys can't travel more than 50 miles. They had stay-at-home orders for certain, like Denver. So there's a lot of restrictions, but they're starting to open them all up now. In fact, today a lot of restaurants open today for the first time, for in-house seating at minimum capacity. I mean, it's like they're not full capacity, of course, but they're starting to lift a lot of restrictions here as far as fishing goes. It's been on this whole time.
I'm gonna have to. I don't know how far it is from like where y'all are located. My brother-in-law, shout out to you, Clay, is up there in Fort Carson.
Yeah,
and
down Colorado Springs. I live about an hour.
He's the one that got me into kayak fishing, and I don't even know if he knows that y'all are a thing up there. But he's military, obviously, so he's been on that. Can't travel more than 50-mile thing. Right. So hopefully,
speaking of that, real quick, guys. Sorry, it's just a good spot to talk about this. Right, it's Memorial Day. Yeah. So I want to give a shout out and say thank you to all the military members out there.
Definitely.
All the men and women and all the families that support them. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you very much for your service. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. My brother's out there too in Colorado Springs, but he went there for a different reason. They legalized a good time, and he said, "Mississippi, I'm out. I'm gone."
There's a lot of that here for sure. But
you figured you'd get like a lot of, if you can go catch fish, have fun, and have more fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It's giving us a different name here in Colorado now. We go somewhere and that's the first question we get nowadays. It's crazy, but It is
And
what it is.
You know, it'd have to come up in the conversation. You know, every
Right.
conversation, interview you're in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What was there anybody in the KBF tournament that was just like fishing and they were just kind of going in circles and it was like a little bit suspect about what was going on? Like that guy might be breaking the rules.
I was lost, guys.
All right.
That's awesome, though. It seems like y'all got a killer thing going up there that nobody knows about, which could be great for y'all. I mean,
It is.
With everything going on, like you're saying, and all the rivers and bodies of water we love being flooded with people. I'm glad to see the growth. We just had a demo day Saturday, and we had tons of people that never been in a kayak trying them out, and you're so excited to see that. And at the same time, you're like, oh, you know, more of us fighting for spots and more people on my honey holes. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is the problem, right? Yeah, something we're doing too that we're trying to do this year is we're trying to host. I've been working with Chad Hoover, and he's gonna hopefully help us out if we can make it happen. This whole COVID thing really messed things up, but we're working with the junior bass club here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have kids from 12 to 18 years old that are part of their club, and I'm trying to encourage more clubs to do this. Hopefully, they'll do this too. Is our club? We got a bunch of guys that said we'll donate our kayaks for a day. You know, our pedal kayaks. And so we want to get them out on a tournament, a free tournament for those kids to come out. We'll give them a bunch of products. They can win some, not money per se, but a lot of our sponsors' products to give them for the winners, you know, and get them out there on kayaks and get them addicted to this sport that we all love, you know. So that's something we're trying to get going here. We had a thing going, and then this COVID thing kind of messed it up. So hopefully by the end of the summer we'll be able to do that. But encourage a lot of clubs. Hopefully a lot of clubs are doing that, getting the youth involved.
See, down here in the South, North Alabama kayak anglers. North Alabama kayak anglers that I'm part of, we have a youth trail 16 and under, and you know, we've had a lot of our sponsors say that they are sponsoring us because we have a youth division. Like we have Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops and stuff like that. And that same day we had demo day from 1 to 3, but we had our youth trail series open that day. And you talk about guys, you know, donating their boats for the day. You know, a lot of our kids that come have their boats, you know, fish with their parents, stuff like that. But we had a kid and his mom show up, and he just wanted to check it out, didn't have a boat. And, you know, my buddy Dan handed him his Jackson and was like, go for it. And the kid caught his first fish, first time ever tournament fishing in a kayak. You know, he's psyched. You know, and then after the tournament was over, he was still in the boat, still fishing. He caught like a 15 or 16 inch spot. You know, it was going crazy. It's nice. Cool to see. Like you got to pass it on to the youth.
Absolutely. That kid's probably hooked for life now.
Oh yeah, I told his mom.
We'll see him on the KBF trail one day, beating Bryce, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Hope so, man.
That's what
I love the growth of the sport as well. You know, it's just something I try to do very, very often.
Yeah, I was telling the kid's mom, I was like, it's bad for you now because, you know, he got to use a really good high-end boat first off, and now he's hooked. So you're going to have to just open that checkbook up now. Welcome to the addiction.
Yeah.
Well, we want to give y'all a chance. You know, we appreciate y'all being on the show. Is there anybody you'd like to thank? We'll start with you, Alex.
Me, it's the club, man. The guys in this club are awesome. They're the guys that really got me to the sport, and really, it's all about my club, man. I love the club, man. They're awesome. So yeah, I have no sponsors right now. I don't chase sponsors. I'm working with Native, so that's something I am probably going to be on the team here real soon. But other than that, I'm not chasing sponsors. I don't care about sponsors. It's about the growth of the sport. So no, just the guys in the club, man. I really appreciate them.
Thank you.
What do you have going on the rest of the year outside of I guess and outside of the club?
So yeah, so for me personally, I'll probably be going to a couple of the BOS events. Dardanelle's one of them I'm looking at. KBF, I'm planning on going to Utah when they have their KBF event there. I'm thinking about doing one in California, but I don't know if I'm going to make it out there or not. So that's it for as far as outside the state. And other than that, it's just running our events. You know, we have 10 different events that we have to run, so it takes up a lot of weekends. You know, so yeah. I try to make all of them, obviously. So that's it for me.
King of the multi-species, Alex Rojas.
What about you, Bryce? Who got anybody you want to thank?
Just go ahead. You know, obviously Ducket rods and everything like that. Wicked Weights, they helped me out a lot. Sam Jones got me on with that early on. I'm on the Hobie fishing team, so Hobie every year. I'm real appreciative of that. I want to thank Alex. Just I know you busted your butt in this event. I've been there. I know what you did that day, and I just want to say thank you for letting this event happen. Just thanks, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I know you reached out to me after the tournament, and thank you for all those kind words earlier during that conversation we had and today. So thank you very much.
Like I said, I've been there. We do a lot back home. I mean, I put on with lower gear down here. We do free entry kayak fishing tournaments. With all this COVID, the last 2 got canceled, but it's free entry. Show up. We're getting like 80 people an event, 90 people an event. They're not paying out big money, but it's getting everyone together. Big fish pots are bigger than first place pots, so everyone's going for big fish. We're all having fun. So,
well, and what tournaments are you fishing the rest of the year?
I mean, you gotta see I gotta make sure the KBF events. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen the rest of the year. I mean, there's still events that are up in the air. I want to fish at least 2 more, but it's kind of just see. I'll be at Gunnersville for the KBF NC though.
Okay.
And
cool.
I was planning on that back in April, so I'm still planning on that for October. But it's kind of waiting to see at this moment,
And for everybody, there's the week before, there's a Hobie on the Coosa River, which is only less than 2 hours, an hour and a half from Gunnersville. So I think for a lot of people, like we had talked to Greg Blanchard a few weeks ago, and it's like, if you can make that trip and make it like a week and a half deal or 2 weeks,
it'll definitely be worth it.
Have that kind of vacation time, that'd be a good 2
the kind of fishing y'all are doing out there, I think you definitely have a leg up on the Coosa.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
very, very similar.
Clear water kind of deal. That seems like it'd be up your alley for sure.
Yeah, it's just I want to get to these Hobie events. There's some other events I want to do, but it's just, I mean, the travel and time. I mean, there's not too much out on the West Coast. At least there wasn't. We're growing out here for sure. Everything's back east. So up until like last year, actually 2 years ago,
the Wild.
I mean, I was driving to Arkansas and everything else just to get in my opens and trails. 19 hours drives just for my second closest open was 2 years ago. So I mean, it's just, and the Wild West is coming, but they're all up in Northern Cal. I mean, that's still 14-hour drive for us, 15 hours. I'll be up at hopefully the Clear Lake Regional.
I was about to ask if you were going to
super trail now. Yeah, I mean, I get up to Clear Lake every year. The past 2-3 years now. I mean, that's one of the favorite lakes. The fish is pretty similar to Saguaro down here. And it's just like last year. I mean, day 2, I probably had 100+ inches on frogs, and I only caught one of them. I mean, it was just heartbreaking and everything else. Just what fishing is to most of us. So I've been eager to get back up to Clear Lake, and then that was basically the last tournament for last year, and it's just pushed me throughout this year.
Well, it seems that it's pushing you in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think if the season ended now, you ended on a high note.
Hopefully,
a lot of people will probably be glad they didn't see you at any more tournaments. I'm not upset that you're not coming out this way for any tournaments. So
yeah. Who knows? I might move out there one day. Who knows?
Hey,
oh Lord,
come live out here, North Alabama, man. We're right in the middle of the Mecca. It's not a long drive to fish anywhere.
There you go.
Just don't fish in my club. You're okay. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Alex Rojas and Bryce Gibbs, thank you for being on show, and thank you for everything you do, Alex. All tournament directors, thank you, and Bryce, keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Keep it up.
Later, guys. Have a good night.
We'll see you
too.
All right, man. So, not only with that one,
now I know that we need to go take a trip to Colorado.
Sounds like it. I mean,
we need to stay away from Arizona.
Yeah,
if we want to have a chance.
Go buy some land, so whenever you retire, you can move out there.
Heck yeah.
Smoke weed and catch bass.
Oh, I love it. Well, there goes all our viewers. Or that could bring in all our viewers.
Yeah. So that was on 16th. Tell us about all the other tournaments that happened last weekend, bud.
So, yeah, I checked out Tourney X, and I'll go over the one that I was supposed to be at first that I didn't make it. Had some truck trouble. But Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama came together and did the Bass Nation recruitment event on Chickamauga. Dave Sewell ended up waxing everybody on that one with 103 3/4 inches. He had a phenomenal phenomenal tournament. Brad Golden second with 96 3/4.
Brad.
And I didn't write down third place. I'm sorry.
His Brad's dad was right in there too. So
what's that?
I think it's Brad's dad, the other Golden. I think he got 5th or 6th. So yeah, it's 2 Goldens up there at top.
Yeah, but shout out to Steve and Freddie for putting that on. I hate I couldn't get up there and help y'all out. And I talked to them afterwards, and Freddie was, working his fingers to death going through all them fish everybody was catching. But seems they had a good time. But let's see, other than that, there was a KBF trail event on Fort Gibson Lake. And for some reason, I didn't write down where that was.
Arkansas
region. I think it was Arkansas. Chris Metcalf come out of that one with 78 3/4 for the win. Jason Ray was 78.5 for second place, and Charles Jones third place at 68 1/4. Central Arkansas kayak anglers did the Memorial Day weekend fish off. It was a statewide event. They had 23 guys. Gordon Parham, probably said that wrong, I'm sorry, won that one with 102.5 inches, so another big bag. James Engel, 93 1/4 for second place. Third place, Terry Brown, 93 inches. So top 3 to top, and I saw the top 5 too. It was stacked up through there. Kayak Anglers of Florida had a trail event on the Lake Kissimmee. 32 anglers there. Jake Suvak, first place, 83 inches.
Kayak Jesus.
Second place. What's that?
That's his nickname, the Kayak Jesus.
I saw his picture, so I completely understand. Charles McBroom came in second with 80 3/4. Third place to Thomas Woodring with 76.5. Kayak Anglers, it's Cats. It's Kayak Anglers of Texas South, maybe. I couldn't find the detail on that. They're on Lake Fayette. They had 68 anglers. First place was Brandon Malley with 99 1/4. Second place was Adam Esleck with 98. And third place was Caden Drake with 97.5. And that was another one. The top, I think when I looked down there, 77 inches was like 30th. So everything was tight all the way up to the top. But that was just a few of them. There wasn't too much going on this weekend, but they didn't have any super big events other than that Bass Nation event going on. There was a lot of hammers at that event. But it's still getting hot. The tournaments are coming back. We've got local tournaments coming, and I know there's that 2-day, 2 separate event KBF going down that Cody was talking about coming up. That should be a big one. I know I've heard a lot of people talking about that. I can't even remember where that one is. I should have looked that up. I think it's on Table Rock, isn't it?
I know there's one about to happen on Table Rock. It seems like a lot of them KBF has went to. There's a Fort Loudon event like in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's went from a 1-day event to a 2-day event. So I think that seems like what KBF is doing. They're kind of doubling up the events that they can do. They're making them 2 days and maybe doubling the point or something like that. So everywhere across the country is starting to open up. More water's opening up. COVID, hopefully, things get a little bit better, some spikes, but it's hopefully it'll be okay. More water open and restricted.
It seems, especially with with our state, everything's back open. You have your restrictions and all that stuff like that, but you could see it like this weekend, people were pouring out to like our demo day. So same thing's going to be happening. I mean, we had 74 anglers 2 weeks ago at Lake Weiss. I think you're going to keep seeing the numbers come up, and we'll start seeing all the tournaments firing up because, too much of what I see on Tourney X when I was looking was canceled. Hopefully we'll stop seeing that and we'll start having a whole lot more stuff going down and get more people on. What you got coming up though? What's y'all's next event? You fishing Pickwick with us?
Yeah, we're doing this Sunday is the Paddle and Fin, our Spring Madness event. We're getting towards the end of that, and some people will be winning some prizes. Over $3,000 worth of stuff coming up this weekend. In the championship bracket, it's me, Josh Eldridge, and Dustin Nichols for the winners bracket winner. And then
one of y'all have a bye or something like that?
Yeah, no, that was for a loser if you had big fish in the losers bracket. So it's double elimination. Whoever loses this week will still make it in the losers bracket and get another shot. So there's okay. So this weekend, Sunday from 7 to 11 Central, 8 to 12 Eastern time. You'll be able to watch us live. Yeah, live. So that'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fish catches. If nothing else, Dustin Nichols in Texas, he's going to go out there. Yeah, he's going to go out there and whack them on a frog. So me, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got some issues going on, but some boat trouble, so I'm trying to figure that out. But once I do, I got a new graph coming in the mail, so I should be here any day, a new Ray Marine. So hopefully I'll be able to get on in time. I went out.
I just got mine back in. I put it on, and I didn't even. I was going to put it on and leave it on the boat at demo day, but I just knew somebody was going to somehow get that Frontier upside down, and I'd be right back in the same boat having to get the graph replaced. So
yeah, well, I don't know if it's right now. I really don't know if it's my battery or the graph, but it doesn't matter because I'll have a second graph to go on my second boat, so it'll work out either way. But yeah, so good time. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fishing coming up this Sunday. How about you? What do you have going on this weekend?
Working. I'm probably that little 4-hour throwdown that I got to fish Saturday is probably the only fishing I'll get to do probably for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm wiring a house for a guy, and I've got to get it done for them. Everything kind of sped up on us, so I just got to keep pace with that, and be an adult, which kind of sucks, but whatever.
Hard to be big money like Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can get everything caught up and calm back down. I really want to fish the shoal stop with NACA, I would plan on making a run at like making the Classic and Angler of the Year and stuff like that with the Coleman guys, and I've only made the one event. So that's not looking good. It's just I had really big goals and stuff on the map for this year, and just like everybody else, the whole COVID thing just ruined all of it. So
yeah,
I'm kind of floating around now.
I got third in their first one and haven't been able to fish another one, but I love Pickwick, so I'm definitely hoping if you've never fished Pickwick or shoals, so that's what is it? Pickwick and Wilson you can fish?
Yeah, when the shoal stop would be Pickwick Lake, Wilson Lake, any feeder tributaries, anything. Which usually you hear about the guys going back up in creeks and pockets and stuff like that, but you've also guys have won it on ledges out there too. So that's what's kind of cool is it gets really. I don't know. That's probably my favorite tournament of the year, even when I'm not fishing in it to hear about. Yeah. And it's the only stop that NACA's ever had a repeat winner on. Wow. Richard Woodruff won Pickwick 2 years in a row in the same creek.
Okay. So if anybody,
thank you, Richard, for not fishing anymore.
If you're looking for a tournament in June to go fish, that North Alabama Kayak Anglers, you can go online, look at their Facebook group page, and fish that event. That's a hoot. It'll probably have 80 plus, 90 plus people. Who knows? So it's going
it's one of our bigger ones, and then that one. I'm trying to remember where we set up. We do little camp outs and stuff beforehand, but the city there, I think we're in Muscle Shoals when they do that. I'm probably getting all this wrong, and Nate's gonna. Kill me for
last year. Yeah, it's like a little bit west of Muscle Shoals, like Tuscumbia, I think. Which that's part of the Tri-Cities. It's all the same place.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's all the same county, which is what it is. And they take care of us when we come out there. They like having us there. That's why we go back there every year. So it'll be a fun event, and especially with everything coming off of like lockdown now, we'll get to have our goofing off the night before and eating way too much good cooked food, grilled food, and maybe a few too many cervezas, and then try to get up on time in the morning and go hammer them on Pickwick. But sure. if you're going to be in the area, or even if you're not, drive down. It's worth it. Pickwick's usually on fire that time of year.
Yeah, great town, great fishing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Come camping, boondoggle. It'll be a good time. So,
heck yeah.
Like always, thanks for watching. Monday nights, 8 o'clock, the Reel Down. We'll be here. Again,
thanks to all the veterans and everybody out there for making this place what it is and letting us do what we do. And happy Memorial Day to everybody. And everybody have a good one. See you next Monday live.
Have a good night, everybody. Be good. Wear your PFDs.